My friend, the best artist of the 20th century, a man of boundless spirit. Now, you might say, best artist. Why do you call him that? Surely Pablo Picasso is regarded as the best artist of the 20th century. Well, I'll read you a little bit of what Clay said about Picasso. I happen to agree with him. Elo Hostache, the young Swiss architectural critic who had been in the party Motor de Ville France, this is when Clay was in Paris in 1927, took him to a Sunday open house at Lille Steins, where Spohn had the wonderful experience of seeing early Matisses and small pre-cubist Picassos. At a performance of Stravinsky's Firebird and Oedipus Rex, which included ballets by Picasso with sets he designed, Spohn saw Picasso speaking with his Paris dealer Rosenberg during intermission. He remarked on the brilliance of his beady black eyes, which seemed to take in everything and everybody in the room as he talked or listened to what Rosenberg had to say. Pablo Picasso seems to have been an artist with whom Spohn could identify, yet at the same time reject. He called Picasso a titan, whose movement through different art styles in search of reality was similar to Spohn's experimenting up to the 1930s. But Spohn became disillusioned with Picasso, and also with Hemingway, because they destroyed the great promise of their early work with false and self-conscious styles. He saw it in Hemingway when he read Farewell to Arms, and Hemingway's second novel. The style no longer represented his true personality. He had sold himself out down the river, you might say, as did Picasso, who cheapened himself, became a kind of decorator and commercial artist, Spohn said. Picasso began caring more for the sensation than for the statement, like so many artists who forsook their identities and took up the art that feeds on art, a mere innovative art which dehumanizes, or rather depersonalizes itself and the artist as well. Picasso, he said, was painting art or recreating art. He was not painting his own truth. Well, I don't have time to go on and show you and talk more about Spohn, but there is a video interview with me about him, and you can find, if you see that, you'll find more on Spohn there. I have had his mural here, different parts of it. This was mural that was put in Los Gatos High School, is now quite well known. It's called The Legend of New Almaden, and they're part of his works, his innovative works. And this is the last painting he did where symbols or subject matter carried the emotion before he made the breakthrough into feeling, pure feeling. And this is where he got the Indian sense of nature in the desert. He started as abstraction. And these are painting, that was a painting from the 50s, and this is from the 60s. And this is his last painting, which he called In the Nature of Things, after the great poem by the Latin poet. This is how to use a research library, and it's a part that I call Preserving Knowledge, Beauty and the Self. And I wrote this book to show people how to enjoy how to use the library, which was quite a mystery to many people. And it became a bestseller in the Oxford University Press. And when it was out of print, the Toronto University wanted to redo an updated version, and they called it Beasley's Guide to Library Research. I should still be able to get it from Toronto University Press. And if you can read that, that is what it's about. How much more time?
16.
You're over.
How?
You're about 10 minutes.
Oh. So you can see what it may help you do in research. And I began this current Index to Current Urban Documents as a project when I was working in the library. Asked all the municipal libraries around to collect city and county documents, and we had an exchange system, and I talked about putting it on in a clearinghouse on Fiche, and eventually it was taken over by a company, and it became the Index to Current Urban Documents. and it's now online. And it's American documents and some Canadian documents, which hadn't really been collected. And I had shown these libraries how to get their governments to pass a depository law. These are my great-grandmother's watercolors. She was quite a remarkable woman. This is an oil painting I put on the front. She did them around 1880, and they were in an old scrapbook. This is a painting of her about 1882, done by one of her painter friends. You see the way she was dressed back then, having tea. She was an orphan and brought up in, there's a picture of her before she died in 1906. She was brought up in Rock Castle by a friend of her father's, whose name was Alexander Carpenter, who was an ironmonger. And that castle is still by the Jolly Cut. Big apartment houses built around it, but it's quite a lovely house. And along with this scrapbook was thrown out, these paintings are thrown out in an auction pile, was her diary. And a lawyer from Hamilton was visiting a friend house in Boston, Massachusetts, and came across it. And she was only interested in the passage in Rock Castle and copied them out. When she went back much later, she couldn't find it. And I guess the house had, the lady had died, and the diary was lost. So at least I had the part that I could add to the introduction. Now, I'll just go through quickly. It was thanks to Jim Crews, Dr. Jim Crews, the botanist, that I was able to produce this book, because he had got his PhD in botany, and had been at dean at University of Toronto, was head of the Royal Ontario Museum, so he really knew his stuff, and he was able to really give the names of these. This one that you see here has brown-eyed Susan, small blue lobelia, orange-cup lily, and meadow lily. And this is sort of a Martha Washington geranium. I just give you 2 or 3 here because the book is full of these wonderful paintings, and the colors being kept. When the scrapbook came to me, I put it in the cedar chest, and that's what preserved it so long. This is called Flowering Maple, and this is the almond clusters, and the Society of Botanical Artists in America reviewed it and said it was a great book. That really, she was a great artist, and said that's the reason we do this work. Here's a clematis. This is a species from China, and this is called Indian pipe. See, it's rather interesting background. It contains no chlorophyll. It exists as a parasite on roots of tree species, particularly the birch. Now, on an early website, someone put these pictures of me. The top one there is when I was writing Home Romance in Vienna. I was about 26 years old. The 2 middle ones are when I was at the library writing the detective novel or the automobile book. This one down where I'm laughing away there in the one corner is in Simcoe in the 1990s, and this is in the last one's the middle of the 2000, about 2004 or 5, and there I am today, surrounded by a family, with Michelle sitting like the Zion of the grandfather, and these are Michelle's children, my stepsons, and their wives, and the grandchildren. And so I'm well established now and ready to write a number of books. Now I haven't really talked about some of my books, but you'll find them on my website, which is at www.davispublishing.com, and you'll find reviews there and so forth. And we hope to have some TV interviews with me on the website, which will be seen, actually they were done before 2001, There's 4 or 5, but they will discuss my books and give you more information about them, or what people thought of them. Thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you. Yay!